Welcome. My name is Neil Thompson, and it is my great pleasure to welcome Mr. Sen and all of you across the world to tonight's teleseminar. And once again, we have come together to enjoy my favorite evening of the week, and it's Wednesday night, and to raise our belief level. Showing people how to dream, to imagine the possibilities, has been Mr. Sen's quest for the past 30 years. And taking individuals to previously uncharted waters, exposing them to new opportunities and new ideas has been his passion. And I remember several years ago, I accompanied Mr. Sen and we went to a workshop, and he was invited as a special guest speaker. It was a 5-day event, it was a workshop, and it was being put on by a New York Times best-selling author. And Mr. Sen, he gave a talk for about an hour, and he inspired and he raised the belief level of the crowd, and he left with a thunderous ovation. And, all the participants, they were affected. So much so, I remember this very clearly, the videographer, he couldn't help himself. And afterwards, Mr. Sen, he had to leave the stage, and he abandoned, he abandoned his camera. He forgot he had been engaged to record the event, and he ran after Mr. Sen, and Mr. Sen had to leave to catch a plane. And this videographer forgot all about the workshop he was engaged to videotape. And I remember he handed Mr. Sen his card, and he shook his hand, and he said, "Who are you? How can I keep in touch with you?" And that videographer, he followed Mr. Sen to Asia on the next trade mission, and he videotaped the whole event. And Mr. Sen, he even arranged for him to have a special press pass so he could enter the trade fairs and videotape Mr. Sen in action. He was showing the mission delegates how to negotiate and wheel and deal with suppliers and traders from around the world. And this videographer was inspired, to say the least, and he never imagined he would end up in Asia. And this is what Mr. Sen does. He lights up a dream, he puts it on fire, and then sets it ablaze in all his students. And, as we did last week, I'm going to ask Mr. Sen to answer a question. This is one of many that came in this week. And the question tonight, and it's a very good one, is I want to vision great riches. I want to vision $1 million home. I want to vision being a millionaire. But when I sit down to vision, I cannot. My mind goes back to my problems and how I can solve them. So what must I do when this happens? Should I solve my problems, or should I force the vision? So Mr. Sen will answer this question and then continue on with tonight's topic, how to master the art of visioning. Welcome, Mr. Sen, to tonight's call.
Thank you, Neil. I remember that day. He came rushing towards me and said, and I told him, call me later.
Yes.
I remember that. He was absolutely, and since then, he went the second time.
Yeah, he went.
Little boy.
Yeah, he did, yes.
Little boy is now a grown-up young man.
Yes.
And actually, his wife sent me his picture. And he gave me he was there. In the second trip, he took his wife in the trade mission. That was amazing. Anyway, let's begin. Your question is a tough one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a great question.
Yeah. You want a vision. That's the problem with most people. You want to vision great riches. You want to vision $1 million home. You want to vision being a millionaire. But when you sit down to vision, you cannot. Why? Because your mind goes back to the problems, your present debt problems, your present situation, job, the mortgage to handle. So what must you do when this happens? Believe me, Neil, that's not only your question. That's the question for most of us in this world. And this is what the problem is. When I was in the Himalayas, I was taught one thing. I was told, don't vision. Don't vision for the vision to manifest. If you vision to sit down to manifest the vision, it's just learning how to love and then how to romance and then romance. You can't actually learn to romance. Either you're romantic or you're not. There is no school which can teach you romance. When the ache of romance comes in, romance brings an ache, a pain. Like when Keats, in his poem, in Ode to the Nightingale, for his love for Fanny Brown, and he doesn't want to mention her name in the unrequited love. He says, my heart aches, and a drowsy numbness pains my senses as though hemlock I've drunk. Don't vision for the vision to manifest. That's what I was taught. Just live in the vision, fall in love with the vision, and make that your reality. You create your reality. You don't say, okay, this is the time to romance. I'm going to start romancing right now. That's not romance. Same way, you're romancing with yourself, with your vision of being a millionaire, of having $1 million home, to have the joy of living. We have built a great edifice of reason, which is almost boiled down to idolatry. Where the poets are banished. You understand? Reason is always a hindsight. You vision. If we had to depend on reason, we wouldn't have the internet. If we had to depend on reason, we wouldn't have a 747 plane. Forget about a 747 plane. We wouldn't be flying today. If we had to reason, we wouldn't have the telephone like I'm using right now, or the internet I'm using right now to talk to the whole world. But what reason is the after effect of the vision. Reasons the manifestation of the vision. If Columbus reasoned, he wouldn't be getting on his Santa Maria and the Nina and the Pinta and found America. Don't vision for the vision to manifest. Live in the vision for itself, like a child. That is your reality. When you try to manifest your vision, Neil, you don't believe in it. Simple as that. You can't fall in love by reason. Can you fall in love reasonably? It's the most unreasonable thing to fall in love. And when it becomes unreasonable, then it becomes romance. But when you love in it, when you live in it, manifestation is a spontaneous thing. And it shows you your belief level. We live in a world of dreams. Reason is like dry toast. And vision is putting the butter on top of it, the jam on top of it, and makes the whole toast better. I'm telling you this because I have a story behind it. When I was in the Himalayas, He says, my teacher told me, go west. They have the toast. They don't have the butter. The dream. What is the motivating power of your dream? So we are too logical. Logic and love are two different things. Logic and love is like oil and water. They don't mix. We have built great edifices of reason. But if you go back, the most unreasonable thing that ever was written was the Declaration of Independence, if you look at it properly, of the United States of America. In 1776, they started discussing the vision of a nation when they were surrounded and overwhelmed by the biggest empire of the world, the British Empire. A few Americans sitting in Independence Hall, today it's called, visioned from the 7th of June to the 4th of July. They hashed out a vision. They fought it out. The vision of a new nation, which was ruled by Britain at that time, the whole America. The most powerful empire is just like more stronger than the Roman Empire was. If you hear the statement of Benjamin Franklin, he says, gentlemen, if we don't hang together, we'll hang separately. It is the most unreasonable act, if you analyze it in your life today, to sign on the document. Americans celebrate the 4th of July as their Independence Day, but that was not the day they were independent physically. They became independent. The British left a lot later. Between then, the 4th of July, they decided unanimously to become a nation. They formed a vision, and they lived in that vision, and that was their reality, even when George Washington was in Valley Forge, even when the German mercenaries hired by the British came and overwhelmed New York. That is living in the vision. So your question is very poignant. And you have to understand. So when you vision, your mind goes back to your problems. And you say, how can I solve them? Don't. They had the problems too. George Washington was sending one mail after the other, one message after the other to Congress. I'm mentioning America. I know the whole world is listening to this. But you have to understand, this is a perfect example of what a vision is. Each one of them who signed on the document were condemned people to be hanged. If you ever watched the play 1776, John Adams is telling his wife, Abigail Adams, say, what? I've given you nothing. And she says, being the wife of John Adams is everything. A man who's destined to be first in line to be hanged. And today America is a standard of wealth, of power. because those people, it's a very young country compared to other nations, because they built it on a vision. So when your question, you asked me, I want to vision great riches, I want to vision $1 million home, I want to vision being a millionaire. But when I sit down to vision, I cannot. Believe me, they were struggling with it for close to a month, from 7th of June to the 4th of July. So don't do it for 5 minutes and then give it up. Negotiate with all the other states. Make the fine tunes and write your vision down like they did. Jefferson took days to write it. Thomas Jefferson, he drafted it. When he wrote, I don't know if I'm speaking accurately because I don't have the document in front of me. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they're endowed with certain inalienable rights, and among them are the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It sends tremors in my heart, and that is my model, the vision. All the problems in the world were facing them. John Adams was mortgaged, his farm was mortgaged to the hilt. Every one of them to take their lives. And if they failed, each one of them would be hanging from the nearest tree. And not only that, all their property will be forfeited and their families destroyed. But they held a vision. So when you ask me this question, you have to remember, the question is, I want to vision great riches. I want to vision $1 million home. That's nothing compared to what they state. I want to vision being a millionaire. That's nothing. And independence wasn't won. They lived in it. They were already free. And they did it unanimously. That means every aspect of your life should agree with your vision. Don't vision for the vision to manifest. Live in the vision for itself. That is your reality. When you try to manifest your vision, you really don't believe in it. Believe me, I'm telling you. But when you live in it, no power can stop the manifestation. Don't try to reason. That piece of document against the British Empire, I think, was the most unreasonable document according to the faculty of reason and logic. Their belief level was there. So tonight we are going to talk about mastering the art of visioning. What is the motivating power? You have to ask yourself. What is the motivation behind your vision? Is it insecurity? That you want security? Is it that you want to overcome some limitations? Or is it for the love of life? To love yourself and love your love and love your family and love your world. You remember last time I was talking to you about 3 kinds of love. A selfish love, only everything for me. And just briefly, I'm quickly going over it with you. Then it was corporate love. Corporate love is good for everyone. The stockholders, the CEOs, the family, everybody. I love you, you love me, we'll take care of each other. That's called corporate love. And the company grows, family grows. But then the third love self-dedication, just to love. Nothing in expectation back, for no returns, like a mother loves a child. I go out to Duffin's Creek sometimes, down to the creek there, and I watch the river, the creek flowing, and the fish, and the willow kissing the waters. But I wonder, every time I go, when the birds are nesting and the birds are hatching their eggs, I saw a bird trying to pretend that it's injured to divert me from her nest so I could catch her. That's a mother's love, self-dedication. When you can love with a mother's love, that's self-dedication love. 3 kinds of love. I don't think you need a better example than a mother's love. If your belief, if your vision is like that, no logic, you know that every one of us is a master of visioning. Doesn't matter what you know about visioning or you don't know about vision. What matters is that everything in our life we have got is a manifestation of a vision. There is not a single moment in our lives we do not carry a vision. At this moment, we have a vision. We vision our world. We have a problem. The solution is the vision. Let me give you an example. If you have a problem, you create a solution for the problem, and that is your vision. How do you handle the problem? How do you create the vision for the solution of the problems? These are the questions you have to ask. Suppose you have a problem. Now, you try to solve the problem with reason. Why don't you instead look at the final solution of the problem? What would be an ideal situation in the problem? Without going into what resources you have. Because that will immediately curtail your solutions. It will be curtailed to the level of your resources. Instead, you have to see the ideal solution first, regardless of the means and connections that are available to us. Then go back to what we have been doing and seeing the problem solved. And the means and connections will come to us. That is raising our belief level. That is learning to be successful. The person should sit down that has the problem, formulate the ideal solution. Suppose you're in debt, and the debt collectors are knocking at the door. What should you do? What we should do is say, okay, we should sit down and formulate the ideal solution, not of paying off the debt. You must vision yourself debt-free. Not how you're going to pay off the debts. You already have the debts. That is okay. You can go to a debt counselor and they'll tell you how to pay off the debts. That's fine. Follow that. But you on your own vision yourself debt-free. Not only debt-free, but what it feels like when you're debt-free. A debt-free life is a lifestyle. See the lifestyle of a debt-free person, where everybody is offering them credit, like you're being offered credit with very low interest rates, and you're not interested in taking it. This is not a fantasy. This is a visioning. You're going shopping for what you've always wanted. You're going to the best restaurants and not looking at the price on the menu. But at the same time, you're doing what the best way you know to make money, to get a new job, to build a new business, but not depending on the business or the job to pay off the debts. That's not feasible. You're going to the debt counselor, you're going to organizing everything, but that is the reasonable thing. But at the same time, you're visioning you're debt-free and you're living a debt-free lifestyle. But depending only on the vision. And the vision will bring the ways and means. And the vision will bring the ways and means to pay off the debts and be rich. Now, to the mind, it may not be reasonable. That's love. That's love. Love for oneself. I know because I've gone through it myself. I'm not telling you this. I was so deeply in debt. But I didn't have a job. I didn't have the means to pay it off. This is exactly what I did. And logically, I was told by everybody to declare bankruptcy. But being from the culture I come from, that was the most dishonorable thing. I didn't. I had overcome that by exactly visioning. And I'm telling you this from my own experience, that all the masters of the East and the West tell us it works. Love and logic is like oil and water. They never mix. You know, we think that being logical is a great thing. If you are logical, we wouldn't be flying today, as I told you. If you're logical, we wouldn't be having the internet. We wouldn't be having the telephone, I told you. Because logic is always the analysis of the past to project to the future. Love is the creation of a new vision and creates its own logic. Love carries its own mathematics with it. I get very excited when I talk about it, so please excuse me if I raise my voice. Love carries its own mathematics with it. See, if you love, you're mad. Because you're giving away everything that you have to what you love. An artist loves his work. A musician loves his work. Romance is love. And you're willing to do anything for love. Like those people that signed the Declaration of Independence signed their name. And when they signed their name for a love of a nation, they also were willing to be hanged for it. Love of a vision. Love carries its own mathematics with it. Love of a vision finds the ways and means to fulfill the love of the vision. By the way, there is no difference between love and vision. Romance is but being in love with your vision, whether it be $1 million, a home, or the man or the woman, as the case may be. Be it a man or a woman, be it a book that you are writing, that you want to sell millions of copies and change the lives of people around the world because you have written that book. Ancient Secrets of Success, which I have written. It took me 20 years to write that book. Been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it. I said, why another self-help book? Why? There's zillions of books and great books been written about it. Why should I add another reading material to the people? And I realized, now, I'll be doing great injustice if I don't write the book. Because I made more money by writing my business books. I wrote a book for about 200 pages and sold it for $300 a piece, $2.99 US dollars, and sold 6,000 copies, and I made $1.8 million of it. But over here, that is not one so much for the money, but the money will always be there if you vision it. Be building a business. The whole idea is writing the book was a vision to change lives. Because what I saw, all the books were talking about success. All the books were talking about laws of success and all the logic of success, but was not preparing the mind to vision success, vision to hold the thoughts, to think the thoughts that you want to think, to take control of your mind, to vision what you want to vision, and like the question I was asked in the beginning, and not fall back. So I delved deep into this world of this science and brought the 4 proclamations out there for everyone to become the master of their world. And the checks and balances for vision and not degrade is, see, the checks and balances for vision. If your vision was created on the basis of something you have and depend on, it's not really a vision. If your vision is based on what resources you have, it's not a vision. It's a logical projection of what you have. It's a business plan. If the vision came to your heart out of dislike for someone, it's a cold, calculated reaction to circumstances. If the vision is agreeable to your mind, right at the beginning, it is not a vision. It is something you can do. A vision is something that you haven't experienced before. I was reading Tom Friedman's book, The World is Flat. And I must tell you, one thing that struck me, he was mentioning one of the things he said that HP, Hewlett-Packard, got a big contract to be the back room of Bank of India. And he went and investigated. I'm going to give you, he went and met with Miss Conway, the HR person of HP. And he writes, HP's revenues today come from outside the United States, where we are complaining about outsourcing in Canada and the United States. But the core HP knowledge and infrastructure, this is quote and unquote from his book, infrastructure teams who can put together the processes that win those contracts, like running the back room of Bank of India, and still in the United States. And she says this, the ability to dream is here more than in other parts of the world, said Conway. The nucleus of creativity is here, not because people are smarter. People are smarter. It is the environment, the freedom of thought. The dream machine is still here. We want to master the art of visioning. That's what the subject is today. I'm bringing you back. You have to raise your belief level. That's how in Back to Methuselah, George Bernard Shaw says to the mouth of the serpent and explains the difference between logic and love, or romance and reason, between analysis and dream. See, what can we analyze? Analyze what has been already done. That quotation, which John F. Kennedy used quite a lot, the serpent is telling Eve in that play, when you and Adam talk, I hear you say, why? Always why. You see things and you say, why? But I dream things that never were. And I say, why not? Let me say it again. This should be our mantra. Why not? When you and Adam, the serpent is telling Eve, when you and Adam talk, I hear you say, why? Always why? You see things and you say, why? But I dream things that never were. And I say, why not? You see, Eve and Adam wanted to analyze what to see. Adam and Eve analyzes what to see. They're reasonable people. They said, why? That is the human instinctive level which we share with the rest of the animals of this world. We want to get out of that. That is why we ask. To find out why, we want to get out of that instinctive level. But the serpent is power, love, romance, our dream machine. He visions things that never were and asks, why not? Vision defies logic, challenges the brain and the mind and the intellect. From tonight onwards, let us make all of our slogan, why not? Why not? Success. Today's success will only belong to the why not generation. And why not generation has no age. Why not generation could be the last day of my life. Why not? Why not immortality? You and I belong to a why not world. Let us vision a world that never was and say why not? And be willing to pay the price of the why not. And the price is very cheap because the rewards are so high. Do you know what the price is? The price is the ridicule that will come from the why generation. The why generation's mind are suffering from paralysis from analysis. The price is only people will laugh at you, ridicule you, because they are the why generation and we are the why not generation. A dreamer is an artist. A visionary is an artist. Whether you be a general, a CEO of a multinational corporation, a father, a husband, a mother, a wife, a son, a daughter, you're a dreamer. You know, there's no such thing as corporate dreamer or a personal dreamer. Every single business today of success was a dream. Google was a dream. Microsoft was a dream. Apple was a dream. And not to mention all the huge companies were a dream. Logically, nobody would have understood them at that time. In today's world, all the logical work will be done by computers, and humankind will take its rightful place. The place to dream. Artificial intelligence will do the work that we do today. It's already started. The rightful place for every humankind is to dream and then give that dream to the artificial intelligence to produce it. I'm going to tell you a story. The problem is we get caught up with logic. There's a man, back in India where I come from, we have lots of mango orchards. I love mango orchards, believe me. And especially in mango season, when the mangoes are hanging there, they smell, they look so beautiful, gorgeous. So this person went to the mango orchard to have mango. But there are certain logicians who go to have mangoes. And he was an accountant. So he took out his notebook and started measuring the mango trees. He started measuring how much each tree produces mango and why the mango comes, how the mango gets sweeter, what color of the mango would be there, which will be better than the other color of the mango. The gardener, the orchard keeper, was looking at this guy, got exasperated. And he came up to him and said, "What are you doing? Why did you come here?" He said, "I came to eat mangoes." He said, "So why did you take out your pencil and your notebook and started making notes? Go eat mangoes." He ended up making research on mango orchard. Just like we end up studying the law of synchronicity, law of attraction, and training our mind to hold a vision not regardless of what circumstances may be manifesting it. That's the problem we have. We pile books upon books. Like I told you last time, all you have to do to come home and turn on the lights is turn the switch on. You don't have to know the laws of electricity to turn the switch on, to light up your room. The Masters told you, vision. The greatest of the greatest teacher told you, believe, vision, and you'll have it. He didn't. Nobody, no master ever went in details. Why do you have to go through that? Well, you can go through that when you get your PhD on that subject to become a professor. But that's not makes you a better visionary than the person that doesn't know how the law of attraction works. the laws of success works. All you have to know is how to vision, believe in the vision, live in the vision, and don't and enjoy the vision, not pretending that it will manifest later because you're holding the vision. That's what Ancient Secrets of Success teaching is all about, my book. How to control your thought and hold the vision in spite of all problems that you may be facing now. What good will it do for us? All the laws of success and all law of attraction. It will only invite the tiger to eat us up if we have no control over our mind. Remember the story of the wish-fulfilling tree. I told you many times. We are living under the wish-fulfilling tree all the time. We are sitting on, it's in the book. It's in the Ancient Secrets of Success. I'm going to give you a short version of it. This farmer was going to the town to buy some seeds for his farm in a hot summer's day. And he was on his way, he got thirsty. He got tired and hot. He sat under a tree. And he did not know it is a wish-fulfilling tree. And so he said, "Oh, I'm thirsty. Can I have some water? If I had some water, that would be great." And wow, boom, a glass of beautiful sherbet, or water came, sweet drink came to him. And he had the water, the sherbet, that's the Indian version of a beautiful drink, sweet drink. And then he said, "Wow, now I've quenched my thirst. If I have some sweets and food," and lo and behold, food came. Then after he said, "Oh boy, I'm full. Now I need to lie down. If I had a bed," he got a bed. Then he said, "Boy, I need a home, a shelter." So he got a home. Then he said, "I need a wife who can take care of me." He got a wife. Now I've got children. He got children because farmers need children because that's cheap labor. That's outsourcing for them. Those days they couldn't hire people. So then he had everything in the world. He had a farm. He had everything right under there. And then he said, "Well, now what happens? I'm in the wilderness. If a tiger comes and eats me up." So a tiger comes and eats him up. You see, we live, move, and have our being under a wish-fulfilling tree. We are all the time living under that tree. We don't need to study how the tree fulfills our wishes. What we need to study is how we can hold the thought, the vision, the dream, the imagination that we have never dreamt or thought before. We can vision romance, ageless romance. Romance has no age. We can vision looking into a lover's eyes and getting lost in the rapture of her looks. We can vision rolling in the snow with our love, laughing and giggling and completely oblivious that there is a world out there. We have to surrender to the vision and knowing that we are living under the wish-fulfilling tree. All the logic and all the reasoning in the world cannot show us how visions are manifested. Only in hindsight, as we say, we have a 20/20 vision. I have a vision that I'll be spending a week to 10 days with you in Chiang Mai, Thailand, for Writers, Speakers, and Marketers Summit, where we will vision and manifest a vision creating and marketing books, speakers globally. Just remember, we are all the time sitting under a wish-fulfilling tree. Do not overload your mind with the logic of manifestation. Instead, become a vision machine. Vision a world. If you can vision it and live in it, it's yours. Good night.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sen. That was a real life-transforming talk. You know, as an accountant, I really appreciated the story of measuring the mangoes. That's what we do all the time.
Yeah, you're a chartered accountant and a CPA in the United States.
And why not, right?
Why not?
Yes. And I'd like to remind everyone, once again, it's very important that if you don't have a copy of Ancient Secrets of Success, you can go to www.raisetherbelieflevel.com. That's www.raisetherbelieflevel.com. And read it over and over again. This book is fantastic. And it not only gives you the know-how and the knowledge of success, it tells you how to practice success. And that is the real difference between this book and most of the other books in the world out there. It gives you the practice of success. So next Wednesday, we will continue on with Mr. Sen's life-changing teleseminars. And you should re-listen to tonight's teleseminar, and you'll receive in your email box the next few days about tonight's recording. And please forward this email to your friends, your relatives, and anybody else in the world you'd like to share it with. And also remember, get them to join in next week's teleseminar on Wednesday, November 18th. And they can listen online from anywhere in the world with no long-distance charges. So with that, good night, adieu, auf Wiedersehen, and thank you very much, Mr. Sen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.